Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Amaji, Standard. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to get Sadhu Sangha and also glorification of all the wonderful Mahatmas, Mahajanas in our movement, who are personally trained by Srila Prabhupada. It's our greatest fortune. And I think the name given for this festival, perfect name, Bhagyavan Jiva. The more we realize how Bhagyavan Jiva we are, the more successful we are. So just please say the Manachar prayers and say a few words. Om Jnana Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jayam Swayam Bhutpadamayam Tadadi Swapadantikam Vande
Before 20 minutes, I don't think that is maybe. I asked him, so he told
Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinapato Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurami Radhe Vrindavane Vrishabhanam Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhe Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Jnabebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama the greatest to become an unflinching devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna and to be a surrendered, fully surrendered servitor of our dear spiritual masters. That is a only goal should be. Rest everything to be the subservient of this goal. And everything rests in of us to come together day in and day out. No? Frankly speaking, 365 days in a year is very less for us. We can find out festivals at the drop of a hat, right? We can find a World Holy Name Week in the September when there is a one small week in between your Radhashtami and Janmashtami, then you find one space to do some festivals. And we have Rath Yatra is done only one day, then we do a whole week's Rath Yatra. So this is how Prabhupada has empowered us and inspired us, right? So this is something which is very important for us to realize that we are here because of the greatest and causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada and all his wonderful disciples, right? And if not for them, we would not be having places like this. I remember our temple, Jagannath Mandir temple, quite a few years ago, what was its size here? And now you see how Krishna has given a much bigger size temple. Everywhere it's the same thing from so many places. In Bangalore especially, we have so many temples coming up in every nook and corner. The more the traffic increases, the more our temples increases. So, every street we are going to have Shiva Sangan is there. Then we have in Whitefield we have Bhakti Center is there. Just expanded into one more out there. And I mean, every time I come, I go to the different temples everywhere. I see that every few months we have more and more temples coming up. That's all because of the costless mercy of the spiritual masters and Srila Prabhupada. But most importantly, the mercy doesn't just fall in our lap. It has to be stolen, or you have to grab it. And that is the most important thing, and the greatest way to do it is to have genuine gratitude to all the hard work and sacrifices that were done by each and every devotee in this movement, inspired by Prabhupada. We saw the beautiful video. How nice that video was. It's like you can see, almost I think it must be some 15-20 years ago maybe. All of them were dancing and chanting and jumping and it was all without any reservation. Yo Mayaya Santataya Anuvritya, it says in Bhagavatam, Yo Amayaya means without reservation. They had sacrificed their life without reservation. We got this comfortable place, our Sangha, but this is all an outcome of those sacrifices which the gallons and gallons of blood and sweat that our senior devotees and all the acharyas have shed in sacrificing their life. So we have to be really, really grateful. That is the quality. It's called Kritagnyam. That Kritagnyam is the greatest quality, and that is absolutely required for all of us to progress further in our Bhakti Bhav, Krishna Bhavanamrit. When you say Krishna Bhavanamrit, the Bhav, you say Bhav. Bhav means actually quality, right? When you go to the shops, you go and ask, at least in the north we use this, ask, Bhav kya hai? We ask the price, for price we use the word Bhav kya hai? But Bhav does not mean price. Bhav is actually quality. The price is actually proportional to the quality. So the more the quality is, the more price you give. Same way, when you see, like nice cloth, then you pay more price. So that is how when Krishna sees our Bhakti Bhav, and then he gives the mercy. And that is the important thing. First thing is very important, to be grateful. And this gratitude, how we express, not simply by saying, by action. With our actions only we can show our gratitude to all our senior Vaishnavas and Acharyas. Right? And that comes from following their instructions. The greatest way of appreciating our superiors is by following their instructions. That's the best way to appreciate them. The greatest obedience is to follow their instruction. And when they give the instruction, they give us the mercy also, the strength to do that also. You see, when you can see how Prabhupada was just giving, come on, you go and preach in Russia, preach in Pakistan. Like His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj had to go and preach in Pakistan. And His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj had to go and preach in China, hidden. And so many others had to go to places where it's so difficult to preach. And that preaching is, they just took it with unflinching faith. So that is why I said, for the last 50 plus years, if we say, 50 plus years, almost 60 plus years, the movement is surviving by this one important quality called gratitude. And that comes from the unflinching faith that all the spiritual masters had and the devotees they had in Srila Prabhupada. And the same thing we should have in our spiritual masters also. I just wanted to read this one particular verse which talks about the spiritual master. And this is something very unique because Prabhupada doesn't give such a kind of translation too frequently in his books. In his purports or translations, he doesn't give this in black and white, he doesn't give so straightforward. So let's recite this together. I think it is on the screen. You will see this thing, right? Savai priyatamaschatma yato na bhayamanvapi iti veda savai vidvan yevo vidvan sagurur harihi. So this verse is a definition of spiritual master in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam gives the definition in different ways, but this is very, very simple. If you read the translation and purport, please go. I will tell you, if at all you want to take one important thing out of gratitude, if you want to repay to Prabhupada something and our movement, then I humbly request you, please take study of Srila Prabhupada's books very, very seriously. When I say very seriously, anytime you have any problem or any questions or any unsolvable questions or situation, immediately open any of Prabhupada's books. Any books of Prabhupada, just open it and read from anywhere. You will get the answer. Many of us have that experience. Why? Because it's not Prabhupada has written these books there. He is right now present even within these books. I will tell you, because today morning when I was thinking about which verse to speak and some verse to refer to, just like that, I had read this verse I read it sometime before, and immediately it came to my mind and I said, okay, this is the verse we should read. There are so many verses that Prabhupada talks about about spiritual master in the books, but this is really special. So I tell this to you with full conviction and experience. Many of you would have also experienced this, that Prabhupada resides in his books even now, and he is expanding in not in just one book. If there are 18 volumes of books, in each book he is there. So 18 times expanded in Bhagavatam only, and 9 times in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhagavad Gita. So many books. He is present there in every single page and every single purport. I will tell you how. Because he speaks through his books. He is listening to us. He is listening to our mind. That is why many times you have this experience that when you read one verse or translation, you have a question, you will be talking for hours together and discussing to find an answer, but in the very next verse, the answer will be there. How many of you have experienced this? Those who have read, you definitely would have experienced it. Why? Because Prabhupada is reading our mind. He is saying, just read the next purport, Baba, it's there. Answer is there. Don't complicate your life. So that's how Prabhupada speaks through his words, speaks through his books even now. When we read this, we will see that Prabhupada is speaking to us. What is this festival all about? Right? Let's read this. Please repeat this translation. One who is engaged in devotional service has not the least fear in material existence. This is because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul and friend of everyone. One who knows this secret is actually educated. And one thus educated can become the spiritual master of the world. One who is an actually bona fide spiritual master, representative of Krishna, is not different from Krishna. This is the point I was telling. He doesn't repeat this many times, but here he specifically repeats his point that the spiritual master is not different from Krishna. Every day we sing this verse, Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra. As long as we keep this as an unflinching faith in our heart that the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna, then we have nothing to worry in our life. And we have all the success waiting for us in the days to come. I just read this purport, why this translation and purport is so important. Please hear this out.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastrair Uktastatha Bhavyata Eva Sadbihi. The spiritual master is described in every scripture as the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The spiritual master is accepted as identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he is the most confidential servant of the Lord. Kintu prabhoryah priyaye vatasya. The purport is that both the super soul and the individual soul are very dear to everyone. Everyone loves himself, and when he becomes more advanced, he loves the super soul also. A person who is self-realized does not recommend the worship of anyone but the super soul. He knows that to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead is easier than to worship various demigods under the influence of lust and the desire for material enjoyment. The devotee is therefore always engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord. Such a person is a true guru. In Padma Purana it is said, Shat karma nipuno vipro mantra tantra visharadaha Avaishnavo gurur nasyad Vaishnavashvapacho guruhu. Even if a Brahmana is very learned in Vedic scriptures and knows the 6 occupational duties of a Brahmana, he cannot become a guru or spiritual master unless he is a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, if one is born in a family of dog eaters but is a pure devotee of the Lord, he can become a spiritual master. The conclusion is that one cannot become a spiritual master unless he is a pure devotee of the Lord. One who is a spiritual master in accordance with the above descriptions of devotional service is to be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally present. Please hear this out very carefully. This is a golden lines of Prabhupada. One who is a spiritual master in accordance with the above description of devotional service is to be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally present. Personally present. There is no confusions in these words at all. Very, very clear. The more we have that commitment to the spiritual master, the more we have the faith in the spiritual master, the more the mercy will flow. I remember last year around the same time, we had the most painful situation. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj departed from this world, from our region. Actually, at that time, we were all praying, but what followed after Maharaj's departure was something amazing. For the next 3 to 4 weeks, it was just continuously remembrance, memories flowing, and we were just going through that for hours together. And so amazing it was to hear the love that each and every devotee had. Before, when Maharaj was around, many of them didn't know many of those pastimes. And but when Maharaj, when devotees were sharing this, they were saying that, oh, why did you not share this when Maharaj was around? You would have done better service. But the thing is, that is why it is shared later, that you can do service for the rest of the life with that same intensity. When our spiritual master, Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj departed in the year 2010, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj told us a very, very interesting statement on the day of Samadhi. He said, the test of the disciple is proved by how he behaves after the departure of the spiritual master. That's the amazing statement that he made to us. And one of the most wonderful memories was, I just remember this because I and my wife, we really relished those memories of Her Grace Radhika Mataji. We were hearing that memories in our video thing, and she was sharing how the faith and the mercy flows through the connection. It's such a subtle, sublime connection that Mataji was able to do so many amazing services just by the costless mercy of Param Puja Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. You are amazed at that, at her accounts. And each one of us have that same connection with the spiritual master. And that is why Supreme Personality of Godhead personally present. See, this purport is how Prabhupada has amazingly given us the way for not just for 25 years, for 25,000 years he has given us the way to go. Right? There is no doubt at all here. Just I will read one more line from here. According to the words mentioned here, Gurur Harihi, right? This is what Prabhupada is highlighting beautifully in this purport. According to the words mentioned here, Guru Harihi, consulting a bona fide spiritual master means consulting the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally. This lion should be what you call embossed in gold, at least gold plating if you don't have gold. Huh? This is how amazing Prabhupada is written here. This is enough for us, right? See here, consulting a bona fide spiritual master means consulting the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally. One should therefore take shelter of such a bona fide spiritual master. Success in life means accepting a spiritual master who knows Krishna as the only Supreme Beloved Personality. One should worship such a confidential devotee of the Lord. This is how we should appreciate. This is why we are Bhagyavan Jiva. This is why we are all fortunate souls. Because we have got the connection into that, how should I put it? This is you cannot repeat this parampara. It's the most purest form of the parampara. We are connected to that by the mercy of these great souls. So that's how the gratitude. How do you show the gratitude? By creating the legacy for the next generation to follow. And how do you do that? We become connected to them through the same way they have connected to their spiritual master, by being unflinchingly attached to serving them, serving their lotus feet, serving their instructions. Right? And when others see our connection, our unflinching connection to our spiritual masters, then they will also follow. There is no rocket science here, right? And so this point should be taken as the goal for our next generation. Because when we talk about 2050, I don't know how many of us will be here around physically, but at least in spirits, by our what we can share, people get inspired. With that, we will be able to pass on what we got as a legacy from our spiritual masters, right? So there are only two things I will tell, and we'll end this thing, because today morning such nice points were shared. Like I noted down that Srila Prabhupada-centric ISKCON is an unity in diversity. See, many of them may not know who is Bhaktivedanta Swami, but everybody knows ISKCON. That is the sacrifice of Prabhupada. Right? In all other sampradayas, people do not know what is Sri Sampradaya, but everybody knows Ramanujacharya, Sripad Ramanujacharya. Everybody knows Madhvacharya, but they don't know what is Madhva Sampradaya. But here everybody knows ISKCON, but not many know Prabhupada. That's the humility of Prabhupada. You see, he didn't want to project himself in the front. He was always on the back seat. He wanted everybody to. That is a real legacy. Legacy means let others come forward. That is Vaishnava etiquette. Just 2 points I just thought it's a very interesting thing to note, to meditate on. Preach with purity, practice with perseverance. These 2 points, if we can follow, that is the best thing that we can do. Preach with purity. It's very important we don't want to preach, we want to preach vigorously. Prabhupada said preach vigorously, preach intensely, but he never compromised on the purity part. We should never compromise on the purity in search of the quantity and other things. Bhav means quality, not quantity. Bhav is quality. So we should always focus on the quality of our study. Not the number of verses we have learnt by heart, but the number of verses we are putting into practice. Number of verses we are falling in love with, to follow that. Right? Simply I can hear and go and speak. No big deal. You can just memorize and speak. But are we standing up to that instruction, living up to that thing? That's the point which we learn from our spiritual masters, passing it on to them also, the next generation also. Preach with purity, practice with perseverance. Because during practice, we have so many obstacles. There are so many obstacles that come. And all these pramanaihi, please repeat this beautiful shloka in Brahma Samhita. Pramanaihi tat sadacharaihi. Little louder. Pramanaihi tat sadacharaihi tad abhyasaihi nirantaram bodayan atmanaha atmanam bhaktimapi uttamam labhed. This verse is spoken by Lord Vishnu to Brahma after he chants this Brahma Samhita prayers. So he gives the definition or how the step-by-step process to attain Uttama Bhaktas, right? So then we have to follow these steps. Just simple. What is that? First is Pramanaihi. We saw the Pramana, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, our scriptures are there, Pramanaihi. From Pramana, what do you take out? Don't just take out some Leelas and just enjoy, speak and go. Leelas is for Krishna, not for us. Right? So he says, Tat Sad Acharehi. Take out the Sadachar from there. From each Leela, from each pastime, from each discussion, there is always hidden jewels of Sad Achar. Sad Achar means saintly behavior. So take out those saintly behavior. What we learn from Arjuna, what we learn from Parikshit Maharaj, what we learn from Vidura. So much, loads and loads of it is there. So Pramanas, Tat Sadachari. From Pramana, take out the Sadachar. Not just take out, speak and finish, get the applause and go away. No. What you should do? Tad Abhyasaihi. Practice it. And not practice only one day. I am very happy to practice on Rath Yatra day and Janmashtami day. But the following day I just snore and I do nose bhajan through the nose. Right? That's called snoring. Right? That's not the way. His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj always used to say, the day of Janmashtami is important, but more important than that is the day after Janmashtami. Whether you are getting for Mangalarti or not. The day of Rath Yatra is important, but the day after Rath Yatra is more important. On the day of Rath Yatra we jump, dance, round, road everywhere, but the next day, finish. Right? So that is how bhakti is. So tad abhyasaihi nirantaram. Always we have to do. And when you are doing always, what happens? Bodhayan, our mind will freak out. It will say, no, one day you sleep for Mangalarti, no problem, you are not losing anything. You have done years and years of Mangalarti, but nothing has happened, Krishna Prema has not come. This one day you go for Mangalarti, you are going to get Krishna Prema? Don't worry, it will tell like that. So, but we should do anti-preaching or counter-preaching to the mind. Right? Anyway, you have gone to all these days, you didn't get it. So why don't you go today also? Right? So, Bodhayan, Atmanaha, Atmanam. Preach to the mind through the soul. The soul is Atma, mind is also Atma. But preach to the mind from the soul perspective, soul platform. Bodhayan, Atmanaha, Atmanam. No, please don't freak out. I want to do seva for Krishna. If you want to do, you go out and freak out, but don't disturb me. Tell mind that way. You go wherever you want. Without visa, you can go anywhere. But I need to do my seva. Please don't disturb me. This is how, when you do, you attain Uttama Bhakti. Please do this. My humble request. And then this is what practice with perseverance. And preach with purity. When we preach with purity, it is very important to have that genuine feeling for the living entity to whom we are speaking. First and foremost, we should think about the one fact that we have all the time in the world to speak to them. But they don't have all the time in the world to listen. I am telling this to myself, just finishing it up, right? So I can't just go and speak whatever comes in my mind and just for to show my scholarliness and all that. They have so many problems, and right then when I am preaching, I am their problem. Right? When this guy will stop and go, let me go. That will be the thing. We should never have that, create that kind of attitude with the people. Just give 5-10 minutes and then let them come to you. That is how purity should be. It's right. Preach with purity means preach with compassion and genuine feeling for the living entity. Feel their pain. Feel their sufferings. Karunaya aha purana guhyam. Karunaya aha. Sukadeva Goswami was preaching out of compassion, not just for Parikshit Maharaj, for the whole generations that are to come. Because of that compassion, we are sitting here. We are saved from this material rut, right? So that is the most important thing. Preach with purity, with compassion and genuine feeling for the living entities. Don't grab anything. Don't see that this person is well off. Give them something for to. Hold on in their life. Second thing is practice with perseverance. These two things, let's carry on. And I'm stopping here. Sorry, Prabhu, if I extended by a minute or something. And thank you for the opportunity. This is such an amazing thing that we all are doing. I wish that this continue more and more and more. It should become an annual event. whenever possible. And I'm really happy that this is happening on the day or around the time when His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's Tirobhav happens, because he is the personification of this vision. He was the one who set the vision for all the future. We had a little, very, very humble experience with Maharaj, few little experience with Maharaj, which we cherish for life. And we have so many great friends in Maharaj's disciples, and we cherish their association, and we look forward to all the wonderful devotees. Recently, one of the devotees was sharing this beautiful thing by His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. He's another gem. He said this amazing thing. This one couple, they had some challenges in their life, especially with the congregation and all that, so they were kind of staying isolated. And for a few years they were suffering the lack of Sangha and all that. They got an opportunity to have a little audience with His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. So the Prabhuji had a big list of things to go and share with Maharaj about his repentance, what all he had in his heart. So when he went and spoke, Maharaj, these are all the things that I am going through. Maharaj, all these offenses I have done, so I am suffering like that. Then Maharaj told an amazing thing to him. If you want to get out of the offense, go out and preach. Amazing thing. Only Maharaj can say this, right? Because I was amazed to hear this thing, because when I am doing offense, when I do aparad, when people are cursing me, all that, first thing that I will do is sit at home and crib, or call people and crib, or just get away from the Sangha, completely stop all the seva. But Maharaj said, if you want to come out of the offense, please go and do intense preaching. This is amazing thing, Only by preaching we can please the Guru and Krishna. And that way our offenses will be dissipated, right? But we have to preach. First we will preach to the mind, our own mind. Then we can automatically preach to others. This Bodhayan Atmanah Atmanam. And it comes. I'll stop here. Thank you so much. Jai Shila Prabhupada ki, Jai Shila Gurudev ki, Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki, Jai Gaur Premanande.
So let us thank His Grace Kalachakra Krishna for very wonderfully setting the mood for this festival. He very wonderfully said that how our vision for next 25 years, the first and foremost thing should be that we have to try to become pure devotees. We have to become Uttam Bhakta. And he was telling that we have to try to become surrendered disciples, of our spiritual masters. Thank you very much, Kalachakra Krishna Prabhu, for your time. I would now request Her Grace Radhika Kripa Mataji to kindly come forward and share her thoughts. While Mataji is coming, I was just reflecting on what Prabhuji was telling about purity. So once, some of the GBC members in one of the sessions, they were sharing that we all know there are 4 pillars of ISKCON. Correct? What are the 4 pillars of ISKCON? 4 pillars of ISKCON. We all should know, if we are talking about next 25 years, these pillars are important. Books are the basis. Second, utility is the principle. Purity is the force, and preaching is the essence. Interestingly, those GBC members who are in that session say that if we are not careful about certain principles in life, then these 4 pillars, it will not be time before these get distorted, and instead of books are the basis, checkbooks will become the basis. So instead of books are the basis, what will happen? Checkbooks are the basis. We don't want that to happen. Instead of utility is the principle, it will become futility is the principle. There will be some genuine surrendered devotees in ISKCON. After working so hard, after rendering service, they will think, nothing is happening, all this is useless, don't know, and all that. We don't want futility to become the principle. And they were saying, instead of purity is the force, majority will become force. We all know how Prabhupada was so much against democracy, and he used to call that as democracy. And they were saying that instead of preaching is the essence, it will become initiation is the essence. So initiation is not the essence of coming to ISKCON, that's like the beginning. Anyway, without creating one more problem, as Prabhuji was telling, I don't want to become a problem. Yeah. So I would like to introduce Her Grace Radhika Kripa Mataji. So Radhika Kripa Mataji was born in a Sikh affluent business family. She studied in a convent school and was a fashion designer by profession. Mataji married into a Hindu Punjabi business family. who was doing business when she joined ISKCON. After initiation in 2001, Mataji's spiritual master, His Holiness Gopalkrishna Goswami Maharaj, ordered her to be an international preacher and be an author also. Mataji has written 6 books and various articles for Dandavats and Back to Bharat magazine. Her books are like books with devotional poems, Vaishnava teachings in Sikhism, Vaishnavism and Sikhism, Guru the Spiritual Father, Memoirs with My Spiritual Father, Death the Unstoppable, and similar. She travels all over the world to give discourses in Japan, Canada, Australia, US, Hong Kong, Thailand, UK, Kenya, Pakistan, and a lot more. During COVID, online preaching became intensive and Mataji joined in the distribution of scriptures and other devotional activities, including chanting sessions and various courses on study of scriptures. Her chanting sessions crossed 1400 days with attendance of nearly 100 people every day. And she was instrumental in doing tremendous book distribution and received a lot of mercy of Param Pujya Gopalkrishna Goswami Maharaj. In 2020, Mataji distributed 425 Bhagavatam sets, 14,000 Bhagavad Gita. In 21, 521 Bhagavatam sets, 18,000 Bhagavad Gita. In 22, 625 Bhagavatam sets and 19,000 Bhagavad Gita. In 23, 565 Bhagavatam sets and 20,500 Bhagavad Gita. And in 2024, 800 Bhagavatam sets and 24,000 Bhagavad Gita. So her grace,
This won't work.
yeah. So
It's not working.
Mataji's husband, His Grace Raspriya Prabhu, has also done very amazing ISKCON temple projects in Delhi, Gurgaon,
It's not
Ahmedabad,
working.
and Rohini and other places. And he also serves the Lordships and encourages Mataji to do so. So we are so fortunate. Actually, it is said great souls, are not to be seen, they are to be heard. And also only when we hear their glories, we understand who are the stalwart devotees present amongst us. Otherwise, sometimes they go unnoticed. So we are so fortunate to have Mataji with us here today. Let us all welcome Mataji by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol!
That's it. Okay. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Gopala Krishna Goswami iti namine Prabhupadasya sahitam yaha prakasha Vitriyacha pracharam kritavan sadhu Bhagavad Padayate namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Tarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so many sannyasis, so many Maharaj. And I was just, in the morning, when I was just going through all the picture gallery we had down there when the Guru Puja was going on, I came across so many faces that are very familiar to me. And I've had the opportunity to have blessings of most of the sannyasis in ISKCON. Like Guru Maharaj was, of course, he was very special to me. And then I had the association with Jayapataka Maharaj, that was known as Ananath Maharaj. I've got a long list. I was writing down the names that I may not miss any one of them. Kam Khan and Maharaj. Then Radha Govind Maharaj, Jayadvait Maharaj, Bhanu Maharaj, Vedvas Priya Maharaj, and then Loknath Maharaj. So they have been to our house in Delhi, so many of them all. I joined in 98, 99, 15th May, first time I went to Vrindavan. So these books all Prabhuji mentioned I have written. These books actually were written by the orders of Guru Maharaj. The first book that came up was the poem on devotional poems. I was in Vrindavan, I was in Mayapur doing the parikram with Guru Maharaj in 2001. And Jayapataka Maharaj was there and I was making all the videos. I used to make the videos. I was quite young at that time and I would run around with my video camera and I would go ahead of the parikrama, be there, make the video and take in the camera, I would capture Jayapataka Maharaj and Guru Maharaj and other sannyasis. Then I would run again to go ahead of them to capture more videos. So likewise, every day in the parikram, I was capturing videos. I still have that treasure with me. And Jayapataka Maharaj would often come into my camera and say, Radhika Kripa, you're spying on me. And I would say, yes, Maharaj. And any problem with the Matajis during the parikram would come. So I would complain, and my Guru Maharaj would say, go to Jayapataka Maharaj, go to him and tell him. And I would run and tell him. So Jayapataka Maharaj had a big bonding with me, and he taught me many things. Me and my husband had the service of dropping him to Vrindavan, driving him down to Vrindavan. So likewise with Mahavishnu Maharaj even, I was not initiated even, he came to our home. We invited him, he had come to Punjabi Bagh. Punjabi Bagh was then a very small temple in a garage. So we had invited Mahavishnu Maharaj to come to our home. And in fact, that time, I had not memorized any shloka. Thank you. So Maharaj told me to repeat the verses behind him. He said, you repeat after me. And I did. I still remember the first verse I did after him was, Aham sarvasya prabho matan sarvam pravartate. So likewise, he also blessed me. And then the list is, as I said, never ending. Radhanath Maharaj was recently in Delhi because he came for Guru Maharaj, Vyas Puja also. And I had written this book at that time, Death the Unstoppable. This book I was coming up with in the month of March. I told my Guru Maharaj that I'm writing a book this year also that you will be releasing. And then Guru Maharaj said, what is the title of the book, Radhika Kripa? I said, it's Death the Unstoppable. And Guru Maharaj said, it's a very nice topic. But unfortunately, Guru Maharaj was not there to release the book. But then Radhanath Maharaj came over and I asked him to release the book, take this book to Guru Maharaj and present Guru Maharaj. So Radhanath Maharaj readily agreed. He carried this book to Guru Maharaj's picture and he offered it to Guru Maharaj. So likewise, this bonding is there. This is an ideal place, as everybody is saying, yes. The Gurus are many in ISKCON, but unless we unite together and we cooperate with each other, we cannot take the legacy forward. Why we are preaching? Because we got something that has to be given to others for the future generations to come. So we have limited time. We don't know when we will go away, but we have to see to others. So likewise, other day I was talking to so many other devotees of other Maharaj, the disciples. They all agree to this, of course, like this forum is there. So we should not keep ourselves that, oh, I only speak to my, God brothers and God sisters, my God siblings. No, we have a very broad view. Guru Maharaj always had a very broad view. And he always encouraged us to serve the other gurus. He said that you have to serve them as you serve me. That was always his instruction, and we followed it. Those who follow the Guru's instructions, they are very fortunate. As I'm from a Sikh family, a Punjabi Sikh family, of course. So when I met Guru Maharaj, I was actually, whenever he would quote something from the Gita or Bhagavatam, I had something similar in my mind from the Granth Sahib. I don't know how it came, because my mother was very pious lady. She would get up in the morning. I had, in our home, we had a Granth Sahib in our house. She would get up every day at 3:30 in the morning. And first thing after taking a shower, she would go to the room we used to call Babaji ka room, and she would go there, read the Granth Sahib. And then she was a pure vegetarian herself all throughout her life. So we had learnt from her that how to get up early. Never in my life we never slept beyond like 6:30 or 6 o'clock. Even if it was a holiday, vacation time for us, going to school, she had taught us to be up and be ready by 6:30 every day. And she would encourage me to read the Granth Sahib early in the morning before leaving for the school. And before going to bed, she would encourage me to read from the Granth Sahib again. So I was reading that. But when I met Guru Maharaj, it was, I don't know how Krishna was blessing that I would repeat a verse from the Granth Sahib and Guru Maharaj would be quoting from the Gita. And it would happen in a smaller group. If we are sitting and Guru Maharaj would quote something and I would say, oh yes, the Granth Sahib says this. And then Guru Maharaj started telling me, why don't you pen this down? Why don't you write it down? And I have a background of a fashion designer. I was not a scholarly person. So I was not taking this instruction of Guru Maharaj very seriously. Because he would say, why don't you write down? Why don't you write down? And I would never listen to that instruction because I knew I couldn't. So one day what happened, in the June of 2007, we were in Vrindavan with Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj and we were all sitting in the office of the president, and then the president was, now it is His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj. At that time he was Devamrit Prabhu. So Devamrit Prabhu was sitting there and we were there. So Guru Maharaj introduced me to Devamrit Prabhu. He said, do you know her? And he just nodded his head a little. And then Guru Maharaj said, you know her? She has written a book on Sikhism and Vaishnavism. And I had not written a single word. And Devamrit Prabhu looked at me. I couldn't say Guru Maharaj is lying. I nodded my head. I said, yes. He appreciated it. And now I thought it's too much. I should sit and write. So I came back, it was June 2007. And when we came back to Delhi, the same very day we were supposed to come back, we came back and I promised to myself that Guru Maharaj Vyas Puja is happening in August. I must write the book and offer it to him in August on his Vyasa Puja. Imagine. That vow I took with myself. Likewise, Prabhuji said, no, first you have to preach your mind. So I told my mind, now you have to sit and write this book. And imagine at that time we didn't have Google or ChatGPT to go and research for everything. Nothing of that sort. I had to do everything manually. So I sat for every day 12 to 13 hours. I have 2 children. At that time they were not very old. They were young still. So I had 2 children and a husband to take care of. But then Krishna gave all the ability, Guru Maharaj gave all the ability, all the blessings. I would sit for 12 to 13 hours every day with all the scriptures around me, the Granth Sahib, the Gita, the Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, all of them there, and I would go into them deep and started writing the book on my laptop. And before the Vyasa Puja, just a week before the Vyasa Puja, I ended with the book. It's a 100-page book I ended with. And then I was still giving the titles when it was going for printing, no time for editing. And the printer is asking the book, he said, today is the deadline. If you don't give, it will not come out. And I was saying, oh, just give me a little bit of time, I have to write the headings, And immediately going through my pages, I was giving the titles, subtitles. And then it went for printing. And it came out. And right on Guru Maharaj Vyasa Puja, I gifted to him the book. And this is the book that came out. This is the book I gave him at that time. He was extremely happy with it. And then it didn't stop there. When I gave him the book, he went, there were some GBC meetings coming up after that. So he was in Surat with all the sannyasis, with Jayapataka Maharaj was there. So he told Jayapataka Maharaj that Radhika Kripa has written the book, the Vaishnavism and Sikhism. She has written a book on that. And Jayapataka Maharaj tells his secretary at that time, that was Madhav Kanta Prabhu. So Madhav Kanta Prabhu calls me up. And it was like 11:30 p.m. It was in the night. And he calls me up and he says, Maharaj baat karenge. Jayapataka Maharaj will speak to you. I said, yes. And Maharaj knew me very well. So Jayapataka Maharaj said, Radhika Kripa, I've heard you've written a book. I said, yes, Maharaj, with your blessings. He said, how many copies can you give me? I said, as many as you want. So he said, tomorrow I'm coming to Delhi. I'm flying from there to Hong Kong, and then I go to Europe. So please bring the books and come to the airport. So I carried like 50 books with me, and I told my Guru Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj has asked me to get the copies. And Maharaj said, go and give it to the world. And I said, thank you, Maharaj. So I asked my husband, as you know, Rasapriya Prabhu is very much involved with temple construction and making of the temples. The Rohini temple also, he is the sole person behind all the interiors and all the exteriors of the Rohini temple. He's done everything. He's done the Bahadurgarh temple. At that time, Punjabi Bagh temple was also being done by him. We had moved into a bigger place and he designed it. And then he was involved in getting the Krishna Balram temples, in the deities were to be installed in the temple. So he said he was very busy. And I said, I have to go and see Jayapataka Maharaj at the airport. And Madhav Kanta Prabhu told me to get my car, big car. We had 2 cars, an SUV and a sedan. So he said, get your SUV because we need to move Jayapataka Maharaj luggage from the domestic airport to international airport. I said, fine, I'll be there. So now the problem was we don't have a driver. Both of us drive. So Prabhuji said, I cannot go. You go yourself and manage it. And you won't believe it, I drove to the airport and I wanted a VIP parking as I was aware that Jayapataka Maharaj will come into my car and I have to transport him to the international airport. So I asked how to get the VIP parking that is reserved for diplomats and for the government officials. So I went to the airport manager. I preached him. Usually they don't give it. So I preached him a lot. And then he agreed. He gave me the VIP parking number 1. So that's a big story how I preached him. Because he told me first no, and then I went away, and then I chanted Narsingh Arati, then I came back after 5 minutes, and then again I preached him. So that way he agreed. I said, there's a big sannyasi coming, you're very fortunate, you must go out, take his darshan. And I really preached him. And then he agreed. And then he gave it. And when Jayapataka Maharaj was coming out, I just reached there in time, and I told Jayapataka Maharaj that I have come with the books, and I've come with my car. So, but in the meantime, Jayapataka Maharaj's own disciple, they had come with a brand new car. They wanted to take him in their car. And now Madhav Kanta Prabhu said, your car will be used for the luggage and Maharaj will go in that car. My God, that won't happen. Let me do that. So I said, let me handle it. I went straight away to Jayapataka Maharaj. I paid obeisances and I told him, I said, Maharaj, with your mercy, I preached the airport manager and I got the VIP parking number 1. Whereas Guru Maharaj's disciples had got a paid parking. So that was a VIP paid parking that was a bit far off. So I said, and I told Maharaj, said, fine. He said, there is a change of plans. I go to a nearby, there is a R.K. Puram, a place where Maharaj's disciple stayed, and he said, there is time for my international flight. So in the evening, I have to come back to the airport, he said. So he said, okay, I go to R.K. Puram in your car, and I'll come back, then the luggage goes in their car, and then while coming back to the airport again in the evening, the luggage goes to your car, and I go into their car. I said, fine, Maharaj. But till now, he didn't know who's driving the car. So and then Maharaj was walking down with me, and I said, Maharaj, there is some little issue is there. He said, what is the issue? I said, Maharaj, I'm driving the car. And Maharaj just smiled, and he said, okay, no problem, Radhika Kripa. And imagine Maharaj so huge, at that time all healthy. He was like an emperor, so huge. He sat next to me and I was a petite thing sitting next to him in the SUV, driving the SUV. And Maharaj was so like, the seat belt would not fit him. So we had to really press his stomach to fit the seat belt. So when I drove the car back out of the parking, all the policemen, the airport manager, all came out and they were standing with their folded hands taking his darshan. So, and then I drove him. So while driving, Maharaj had this book in his hand and he said, where have you written the meaning of Vaheguru? And I said, because we were in such a hurry, there was no index to the book. So I was just looking into his book like this way. And he said, no, you look on the road. Don't look here. You're my sarthi today. He used this word. He said, you're my sarthi today. And I said, okay, Maharaj. And then he said, when I reach their home, the devotee's home, I will go and take a shower and then take prasadam. So you come back and read the book to me when I take prasadam. So I have those pictures. Madhav Kanta clicked all those pictures. Still, I treasure those pictures with me. Where Madhav Kanta then came and said, Aaj hi sara book suna doge Maharaj ko. I said, Maharaj wants to listen. So likewise, you see, I got the blessings from my Guru Maharaj. And then one thing Maharaj said to me while I was driving, he said, has ever your Guru Maharaj sat with you like this when you drive? And I looked at Maharaj and said, only in my dreams. And this thing I told to my Guru Maharaj. I was very, very, I would say, very close word is that I would go and walk to and speak to my Guru Maharaj my heart out. And he always welcomed that. He gave me that love, affection, and the care we were extending, he was reciprocating it. So I told Guru Maharaj, once we were dropping, me and my Prabhuji were dropping Guru Maharaj to the airport. So I was looking in the side view mirror, and I could see Guru Maharaj. I was sitting right behind Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj, I told Guru Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj said that, and I told the answer that I only drive you in my dreams. And then Guru Maharaj just laughed and laughed and laughed. So, and this is how the bonding is. And what preaching for Pakistan, even it was another incident that happened in my life. Because Guru Maharaj, I was going through the emails today morning also. Guru Maharaj emails, I still treasure them from the year 2004, 5, 6. So Guru Maharaj told me, once I had given a lecture somewhere, and I told Maharaj in the year 2003, I said, Maharaj, there were 100 devotees there. So Guru Maharaj said, I want you to travel all over the world and give lectures. For preaching, you have my blessings to travel anywhere on this planet. He used the word. And then it was in my mind that I have to please him. I have to do what he says. That was actually, when I joined ISKCON, that is what that was in me. That because the Guru Vani says, because the Guru Granth Sahib says, it says clearly, Gur jaisa nahi ko dev, jis mastak paag so laga sev. There cannot be a demigod, a god even, the devatas even, cannot be compared to a guru. Guru is much above them. So those who actually do the service to their guru, they surpass all the services. They surpass all the service. That is a service to Krishna in himself. Darshan parsiye guru ke janam maran dukh jaye. The Gurbani says again, those who take the darshan of the guru, even they will get out of the cycle of birth and death. So I was literally following the literal meaning of these lines. I wanted these lines to be my heart and soul. So because how I came to ISKCON is another story that you can find in the Back to Godhead, because Guru Maharaj wanted me to write articles. I wrote for International BTG in 2006, and my life story got printed there. So for Pakistan, even Guru Maharaj had told me, you travel and preach. So I wanted to fulfill all his desires before I leave this planet. So Guru Maharaj, according to his wishes, I arranged a trip to Australia with my god sister who lived there. So she invited me and she organized few lectures there. So I was going to Australia. So as I was going to take darshan of Guru Maharaj, take his blessings, Guru Maharaj was talking to the devotees in Pakistan. And I had met those devotees with Guru Maharaj Mercy when they were in India a few months back. I had met them. And in fact, Guru Maharaj had gone in 2006 to Pakistan himself. And we were the ones, me and my Prabhuji were very fortunate because no one was allowed from the temple to come to the airport. Because Guru Maharaj was traveling in a pant and shirt. He never wanted anyone from the temple to come. So he only asked me and my Prabhuji to take him. He changed his clothes in our house. And then he asked us to drop him to the airport. So, and he told us, don't pay obeisances me to at the airport when I leave. You just be very normal, casual, just drop me and come back. So it happened that way. So I knew the devotees there. So when I was going to Australia, it was the May of 2007, I went to see Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj was talking to the devotees in Pakistan. So those devotees were saying the deities, actually we helped them to get the deities. The deities were taken from Delhi to Quetta in Balochistan. So those deities they had reached Balochistan and now they had to be installed. So they were asking Guru Maharaj to come back and install the deities. And I was sitting in his room just taking his darshan before leaving for Australia. So Guru Maharaj says, okay, Radhika Kripa will come to Pakistan. And I didn't know what talk is going on. And he asked my husband, do you mind Rasa Priya if I send Radhika Kripa to Pakistan? So my Prabhuji said, no Maharaj, wherever you want, you can send her anywhere in this world. So I went to Australia. I thought it's just a joke going on, nothing serious. But again, I learned in my life, whatever Guru speaks, it's always serious. whether he speaks jokingly also, it's always serious. It means business. So I went to Pakistan, I went to Australia, I came back, and my Prabhuji said the devotees in Pakistan, they are very much after, like they're sending all the papers and they want you to come for the visa application. You must go ahead and go to the embassy. They've sent all the documents needed, invitation letter and their whatever is needed. So now but to Pakistan you just don't go these days, so it's become all the more difficult. The scenario is different, but at that time also it was extremely difficult. Nobody can go and just ask for a Pakistan visa as a tourist visa, or just you want to visit someone. You don't get a visa like that. So now it was again an issue how to get the visa for Pakistan. So I was there in Guru Maharaj room once, and I heard a devotee meeting the Pakistan High Commissioner in a dinner. And he had invited the Pakistan High Commissioner to the temple. And now I went to that devotee. I carried my passport with myself, and I went to see that devotee. I said, do you have the number to the Pakistan High Commissioner? And somehow we managed to get the number for the Pakistan High Commissioner's PA. And then he called him up and reminded, you met me and I invited you to ISKCON. And he said, yes, I remember very well. You extended an invitation. And of course, we would like to come one day. And then this devotee said, one of my god sisters, she wants to visit Pakistan. Her family, some of her family lives there, and they are inviting for a function. She has to travel. And then he said, when? He said, tomorrow. He said, he said, how is that possible? We take 1 month at least to go through all the whereabouts of the person who wants to travel to Pakistan. We do all investigations. And this devotee said, she's not a terrorist. And he said, okay, I believe you. He said, send her to the High Commission right now. And I went to the Pakistan High Commission right from that devotee's home. We went there. And my Prabhuji sat in the car. He said, I'm not coming inside even to the High Commission. But I went all alone inside, and I was there for 10-15 minutes, and the High Commissioner was in a meeting. He wanted to meet me personally, but then the time was taking too much, so he asked for my passport to come in, to be brought in. And my passport was taken in, and he said, okay, I find the passport perfectly okay, because I had traveled almost a lot of countries, and since my childhood I have been traveling with my father as well. So I had a big bunch of passports. So that was sent inside, and he saw all, and he said, yes, grant her the visa. And they gave me the visa immediately. And in the evening, by 6 o'clock PI flight, I went to Pakistan. So and that is how Guru Maharaj wishes they come true always. So it says in the Gurbani even, Santan ke karaj aap kholoya Ram. So when these sant, the sages, when the pure devotees of the Lord, when they actually aspire something, when they wish something, Supreme Lord cannot say no to them. He has to do it. He has to come. So that is how it is. If we please our spiritual master in this lifetime, Krishna has to agree to him. That's, if we really serve our spiritual master, we will go back to Godhead. It's sure, short, guaranteed. But the only thing is how we surrender to our spiritual master. So all these books I wrote, when I wrote the Guru, the Spiritual Father, these 2 books I wrote in 2023, before Guru Maharaj left the planet. So this book was my memoirs with my spiritual father. It contains like more than 200 pictures, candid pictures with Guru Maharaj, since my journey, year 2000 till 25. And Guru Maharaj, when I showed him this book, he was very happy. He really liked the cover, he liked everything. And then the second book, with this book only, 2 books came out in 2023. I hardly knew the next Vyasa Puja, he won't be there. I won't be able to gift any book to him. But then I wrote this book, Guru, the Spiritual Father. So my all books, they contain, except the memoirs, other books all contain the scripture, the different scriptures, same verses from the Granth Sahib, Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So here in this book, the foreword, Guru Maharaj really gave a very beautiful lines he wrote here. He talked about it. He said, there he was talking about Radhika Kripa has woven her cultural upbringing in the Sikh religion with her nearly 25 years of practice of the Krishna consciousness in presenting this book on the Guru. And the previous books by her on the Vaishnava teachings in Sikhism and Vaishnavism in Sikhism were widely appreciated, and it is encouraging that she is continuing her service to the Guru Parampara by presenting this new book on the Guru. To cultivate the selfless service to the bona fide Guru all the time is one of the most noble purposes of life, as all the spiritual paths confirm. It's my pleasure to recommend the serious practitioners of both Vaishnavism and Sikhism this book that treads the steady path of faith to the Supreme Lord through the medium of the bona fide Guru, whilst establishing the underlying commonalities among both the faiths. So he gave this, and then he said here that when we read these books on interfaith, our bond, our nishtha on the Guru, it becomes more solidified. So we can solidify our determination, our nishtha, our faith in the Guru by reading such books. Because that is how it happened. This book contains the quotes of Srila Prabhupada. And when the Vaishnava teachings in Sikhism came up, Jayapataka Maharaj, I asked him to give a testimonial for this. And he said, thank you for this wonderful contribution. I pray you can make many pure devotees. Your ever well-wisher, Jayapataka Swami. And Jayadvait Maharaj even said, the book demonstrates very well sorts of parallels to be found between the Guru Granth Sahib and the Vaishnava text. This should prove more valuable for the devotees. You have rendered a good service. So the book is also designed nicely. So these are the many books, even the Vaishnavism and Sikhism, this book came out. It has got again the same, how Ekadashi is important, it's mentioned in the Granth Sahib. And many verses in Sanskrit spoken by Guru Nanak Dev Ji himself. And many things have been disclosed here, like how many of you know how Lahore is named, after whom Lahore is named? Anybody knows? 1 person, 2 person, 3, 4, hardly 2, 3 people know. Lahore is named after love. Sri Ramji's son, love. It's named after him. The Gurbani tells, it's written in the Dasam Granth. And Kasur, the city of Kasur in Pakistan, is named after Kush. So love and Kush, that is how it is mentioned. That is how it came up. And there is the lineage of the Sikh Gurus also mentioned in the Dasam Granth. So likewise, I have written these books so that our knowledge, actually we can use our knowledge for preaching, and we can be of service to ISKCON. So that is, it means that how we serve our spiritual master. So these, I was writing about the Kadam Kanan Maharaj. Is there any disciple of Kadam Kanan Maharaj here right now? 1 person. So Kadam Kanan Maharaj was in his last days in Vrindavan. And we were visiting Vrindavan very often, like for the Kartik especially. And once I was sitting, Kadam Kanan Maharaj all knew me very well. And I would often ask him, just to test him sometimes, Maharaj, you remember who am I? And he would say, yes, that written on the Sikhs, the book, the Kshatriyas. I said, yeah. And then I was sitting doing my japa in Vrindavan one morning after the Mangalarti. And Kadam Kanan Maharaj was going upstairs to his guest house room. My Prabhuji was chanting in the guest house lobby. And in the morning, I usually take like 5 almonds or something before the Mangalarti. And that day I had not taken anything, and I was feeling a bit hungry, low on my diet. So I asked my Prabhuji even, do you have anything I can eat before starting my japa? He said nothing in his pockets. But then we just were like, then I started my chanting. And then suddenly Kadam Kanan Maharaj appeared. He was going upstairs to his room. And he climbed the stairs. I'm not there, my Prabhu is there. So Kadam Kanan Maharaj came back from his he had climbed a few stairs, he came back. He put his hand in his pocket and he took out a box of laddus. And he tells my Prabhuji, take this, go and give it to your wife. Imagine. So how powerful actually Srila Prabhupada, those who follow Srila Prabhupada, they are following their Guru so strictly. How they can be so merciful and how they know everything what's happening in our hearts and minds. They can read. Guru Maharaj often used to say, I can enter your mind. He would say, he told Mohan Rupa Prabhu, I can enter your mind. I can see what's happening there. Once I was sitting in Guru Maharaj's room and there was a devotee who came and he was a president of a temple. He came and he was telling about some incident. I then knew there was, I have to end. Yeah, fine. Just one line would do. इतना बड़ा मत लिखते. So, you have forgotten, made me forget where I was. So, Guru Maharaj, that devotee was sitting with Guru Maharaj, and then he was actually speaking some lies what he was telling. And when he left, I told Guru Maharaj, I said, Guru Maharaj, there is nothing truth in it, what he was speaking to you. So Guru Maharaj looked at me and he said, do you think I am a fool, Radhika Kripa? So Guru ke samne hum jhoot nahi bol sakte. We cannot be a fake personality before our spiritual master. So that's why I wanted to convey. When we come to the temple or we bow down before our spiritual master, and for the eminent Shiksha Guru is Srila Prabhupada, so you cannot hide anything from him. You cannot be a fake personality. So never ever in your life be a fake personality. If you're coming to the temple, be very sincere in your services and be very sincere in your surrender. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhagavad ki jai. So these books will be available with Sucheta Sinha Mataji and Jyotsna Ramesh Mataji are here, these two ladies. If those who all want a copy, I'm carrying very few. And if you can go to them, approach them. And still, if they are finished with the books, you can leave your name and contact number. They will see to it that my team actually supplies them to you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you for inviting me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Let us all thank Her Grace Radhika Kripa Mataji by loudly chanting 3 times. I really beg forgiveness from Mataji for cutting her short. Actually, she had so many things to share, and we are all feeling so blessed and so fortunate that we have such wonderful gems of devotees sharing with us the secret of success in spiritual life. First, His Grace Kalachakra Krishna Prabhu shared the secret in form of preach with purity and practice with perseverance. And now Mataji, she was sharing so many personal life experiences and her deep faith and realization in the fact that service to spiritual master holds the secret of success. Once His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj was telling that when desire to serve is more than the capacity to serve, that's when empowerment happens. And Mataji shared so many nice incidences from her own life which exemplifies that how when desire to serve is there, then you can even get visa to Pakistan, by the evening. Right? When desire to serve is there, then everything can be done. Thank you very much, Mataji, for inspiring us. I would now request His Grace Rambhadra Priya Prabhu to please occupy the Vyasasana and share his thoughts with us. I would like to introduce His Grace Rambhadra Priya Prabhu briefly. Prabhuji has done his Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering in 1999, and he has worked with various companies for 2-3 years before he joined Ashram full-time in 2002 in ISKCON, Belgaum. Since then, Prabhuji has been studying and teaching Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures. From 2005 to 2013, Prabhuji has served in the Administrative Legal Office of ISKCON at Bangalore. During that time, he regularly conducted Bhagavad Gita seminars in the TRPO colony in Bangalore. Prabhuji moved back to his home base, ISKCON, Belgaum in 2013, and he has been serving there as Administrative Head of Legal Department at ISKCON, Belgaum. And Prabhuji has been a very active teacher of Bhakti Shastri courses at ISKCON Gokuldham, ISKCON Karwan and ISKCON Goa since 2015, both in online and offline formats. And currently also they are conducting Bhakti Vaibhav course for Goa and Belgaum devotees and Srimad Bhagavatam thematic series online. So we are very fortunate and blessed to have His Grace Ram Madhan Priya Prabhu here with us. Let us all welcome him by three times loudly chanting, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
15 minutes. Yeah. Can you connect this? Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'm very blessed to be this afternoon here, to be in this August assembly. I was told to speak on the vision for 2025 to 2050. And just few minutes back, I was told to speak on this. So I would like to make a small presentation about this, that the institute started by our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He laid down, the 7 purposes of ISKCON. And one of the first purpose, practically, propagate the teachings based on the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm just paraphrasing that. I was many years back in Vrindavan and sitting in Srila Prabhupada's room and chanting. And after that, usually after finishing the chanting, I used to read the letter which is there in front of the desk. And this day when I read that letter, the first statement of Srila Prabhupada was, Krishna consciousness means systematic education in God consciousness. This is one statement, and that time I could realize that Srila Prabhupada's books, Srila Prabhupada's purports are actually in the seed form. And an ocean of knowledge is there deep inside. Just like when you go in the ocean, deep inside you can find the